Welcome to Better Life, Better Business, your go-to podcast for how you can grow your business, double your productivity and time off, work smarter and not harder. Brought to you by local business coaching expert Christoph Nauer, CEO of Balance 6 in Walnut Creek, California.
Welcome back to Better Life, Better Business with local business coach and time management expert Christoph Nauer of Balance 6. I'm your host, Rebecca Troxel, founder and CEO of Rebecca's Vault. Today, it's time to get back into our series of interviewing business owners about not only what they can do to help you in your business and with your time, but how they're navigating the world of being an entrepreneur themselves.
Well, thank you, Rebecca, and welcome everyone. And I'm Christoph Nauer of Balance 6, and today I'm going to be talking with Greg Stevenson of TechStudios and TextiFYI. And he will tell you all about what that's all about. Hi, Greg. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much. And let me just say thank you so much for having me on the show today. I'm super excited, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be, and I'm really glad you have you here because you have something so unique. All listeners know that the purpose of my podcast really is to provide excellent resources, helpful tools, and tips to business owners. And that's exactly why I wanted you to be a guest here today, Greg. Please tell us what it is you do that provides value to business owners and entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a telecom startup called TextiFYI, and we do text marketing, but it's unlike anything that you've ever seen. And we work with CEOs, business owners who are successful, but they also have the honesty to recognize that perhaps sales is a bottleneck to growth. So they're probably concerned that they're unable to effectively build trust. So they end up competing too much on price. They're worried maybe about not differentiating themselves and standing out in a crowded field, leading to weak and inconsistent sales pipelines. And then others are just frustrated. They're spending large amounts of money on ads that don't work, poor lead generation, poor conversion, leading to lost sales. And we fix all those problems.
Wow, you definitely got my attention there, Greg. So tell us a little bit more about how you fix those problems, please, before we get into some of the other questions I have prepared.
Yeah, so real quickly, we're different than 99% of all the other texting platforms out there. They believe, or their business model is, they think the value is in texting out to people, right? They want people to text in and join a database and then basically say, hey, it's okay for you to spam us, with marketing messages. One, that doesn't work, and two, nobody likes that. And so you can't even do that with our platform. We feel like the value of texting is having the ability to have potential clients, customers, and referrals text into your business using keywords to find out more about what you do or your next event or set up a calendar.
Wow.
Because 85% of people, this is an astounding statistic. It boggles my mind every time I say it. But studies show that 85% of people would rather text a business than either call them or go to their website and fill out a form necessarily. And that's a huge number. And that's what our platform does. It allows those 85% of people to text in and connect.
That's cool.
Yeah, those are staggering numbers there. Wow. Greg, what's one thing that you wish you had known when you began your business?
I think I would say that it's not to take things or yourself too seriously. Have fun, because life is 1,000 times too short to be miserable. So have fun and don't take yourself so seriously. I wish I'd learned that a long time ago.
I love it. Yeah, I fully agree with you on that. And I have to remind myself constantly, just kind of take it easy, it's okay. I'm actually meditating right now. And one of the things that Mr. Chopra says is when you let go of the need to organize in your life, incredible things happen, and it's really true. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I really love that, by the way. I mean, there's a natural intelligence that we all have if we, kind of center ourselves and let that happen.
Yes, I think we are sometimes so, intense, we can't just take a step back and say, okay, I've done everything that I possibly can, I've done the best I can. Now I need to just step back and let things happen, and I can tell you from experience that's actually, it's working,
Yeah.
but in our society, that's not something that is promoted or even, in the forefront.
That's
It's
true. It's
work
very
harder,
true.
work more, and that's not really true.
Absolutely.
Uh, so what are some of the best resources that have helped you along the way, Greg?
By far, social media. If you are a good curator and you can identify quality information sources, you can have a high level understanding and learn anything you want about a business or a sector in under 30 minutes, because people post everything. Financials, processes, marketing plans, warehousing costs, run rates, deal terms, you name it. It's all out there, and it's free. And years ago, that was just impossible to do.
Well, obviously you're using one of those social media platforms as to make that part of your business. So that really doesn't surprise me there.
Yeah, there's a wealth of information out there, and yep, it takes a little work to find those good sources, but it's so valuable.
Well, you obviously know how to do that. What role does delegating play in your business, Greg?
Well, we're a small and flat developmental team, and we're building a startup, so we pretty much do everything. I mean, we develop, we sell, we train, but our service is so lightweight that we get a huge bounce from all that we do. And so our customers benefit from that, and then the end users obviously benefit from that as well. So we pretty much do it all.
Nice. So delegating a lot to technology is what it sounds like, and that's kind of what your business is anyway. So I guess that makes sense.
Absolutely, and our platform is really on the light end. So a lot of the heavy lifting has already been done, and then we're, as you mentioned, we're able to automate so many things, and then focus on really what matters, which is adding new features and talking to our end clients, finding out what functionality they want to see, and training people and making sure that everyone's just as wildly successful as possible, because we want people to take our platform and be absolute rock stars.
I love that. So for our viewers that are watching this podcast and maybe haven't heard the ones previously where we talked about prioritizing, I highly recommend you do so. Christoph and I have discussed the 80-20 rule, the ABCDE method, proactive procrastination, could go on for forever. How do you prioritize, Greg?
Well, I believe that prioritizing is a lot about learning how to say no, right? Like Warren Buffett is famous for saying that the difference between, you guys are nodding your heads, right? He's famous for saying the difference between successful people and really successful people is that the really successful people say no to almost everything. And we get so caught up, right? Because there's so many demands and everybody wants answers and fixes right now. It's so easy to get caught up in that because we want to take care of all those things, but when it really comes down to it, your first impulse has to be to say no, and then you have to kind of like go from there. And that's the way that this worked best for us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every single session I have with Christoph, one of the notes I have to take is say no more. I'm pretty sure he tells me that every single time we have a conversation.
And I'm so glad you mentioned Warren Buffett, because I was just working on quotes that I will be using in my book that I'm writing. And one of them is exactly that one by Warren Buffett that I want to have on the back cover of my book. That's exactly the one, so it's interesting how that just happened. I was just researching this today and I wrote the back cover of my book, and there you go. And you mentioned the same one.
I love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. As a business owner, Greg, you have a lot of responsibilities. What do you do to make sure everything gets done?
Trello boards. You can run your entire business on a Trello board and a few Google Sheets. We highly recommend them. It's one of the best organizational tools. And some people feel like you need all these complicated systems and all that, but you really don't. We lean on those so heavily with all of our team members.
Trello boards are really neat.
So I would look like, yeah, I'm the only one who doesn't know what that is. So I know now after this call, I'll have to go research what that is because,
Yeah.
and that's so fantastic. I learn something each time I talk to experts like that, and one of my balance six is self-improvement. So I just learned something here.
There you go.
Um, Greg, only about 3% of people have written goals for their business and their lives. I am pretty sure you will belong to the 3%. How do you handle goal setting?
Well, we, excuse me, we focus on the process. If you want mangoes on your mango tree, you don't focus on mangoes, right? You focus on soil, water, manure, and sunlight. Then mangoes happen, right? So we are very process oriented and we try to keep it that way.
Okay.
I like that.
I just mentioned, my business name, Balance Six, the six that we need to balance, for the listeners, I'll repeat them again. There's time, money, health, relationship, self-improvement, and higher power or spirituality. And so I'm throwing it out there to you, Greg, to see if you would like to say something about one of those six that you have some, tricks or suggestions for business owners in this regard.
Absolutely. I think what I'm going to do is maybe combine like health and improvement and higher power and, find a practice. You mentioned earlier about meditation and I prefer meditation also, right? But do some inner work of some sort because nothing is worth more than your peace of mind and your inner well-being. And it really does help with stressful work situations because they don't really have to be that stressful. And having a practice definitely helps with that.
I hear you there. That's some very, very good advice. And it does go across several of Christoph's categories, which is really cool about how he handles his coaching in general. So I actually have a question for you, Greg. I want to know who some of the people are that have been most influential to you, especially as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so you know what? I think I'm going to give a little of the non-standard answer here. And I'm going to say nurses and kids fighting cancer. Nurses, especially what they've been dealing with now, what they've been having to do for a year, they are fearless, right? They'll jump into situations and messes that we can't even imagine. And as far as the kids, if you're feeling down or maybe too self-focused, spend some time with the kids and the families that are fighting some of the toughest fights that there are, and they do it with a smile. It's tremendously empowering, and some of the kids that I've met, have just been the most influential, humans I've ever come across. So
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's so true. I think I have pictures of my kids throughout the house when they were little. They're all grown now. And there's times when I can just stare at one of those pictures and just sit there and go down memory lane, or when I go for one of my daily walks to get out of my home office, see the kids out there playing. The innocence and beauty is just, that's why they call it become like children again,
Yeah.
They have, I love what you said, Greg. I think you're the only person who went off the grid here, so to speak, and chose something completely different when you asked that question. And two, my experience, I just got my first shot last week, and the people that were there doing the work, checking you in, and the folks out in the parking lot telling you where to park, all the way up to the nurse who actually gave me the shot. They were so incredibly personal and nice and polite, considering that they do this all day long, every day. I mean, I figured I was just a number to them, but no, I was not, So I fully agree with you that, Greg. That is so true.
Yeah, they're just absolute heroes. And but I found just as I've gotten older and lived a lot more life is that you can find positive influence resources all over the place, right? And if you just look for it and you're open and you can readily see it, and there's just some amazing people out there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I fully agree. And I thank you for, taking a little different approach from most people in our
Yeah, well, someone's got to do it, right?
Well, I'm glad you did. Greg, I know now you have piqued people's interest, quite a bit. And so I'd like our audience to be able to connect with you. What's the best way to connect with you online? I'm sure texting is definitely one of them, but please enlighten us. How can the people find you and connect with you?
Yeah, it's super easy. So as you mentioned, we're actually completely text-based. We don't even really have or need a website. But what you can do is just text Greg, G-R-E-G, where the letter G works, to 866-796-0369, and you'll get my contact info. And I'll post that in the chat or whatever, but that's the best way to get a hold of us.
Nice.
Well, and I will put that number in the video description once this is up on YouTube, and so people can, if they didn't catch that, so they don't have to rewind and play it over and over again, they can get that information from there as well.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Greg, for having a conversation with us and sharing some of your insight. You've been great to have a conversation with. I'm kind of sad that it's over.
I know, it went really fast. Thanks so much, Rebecca.
It did. And as always, thank you to our viewers for joining us today. If you or someone you know needs guidance on finding balance and success like Greg has, make sure you take advantage of the offer Christoph provides his audience, a complimentary business breakthrough session. During this session, you'll learn how he can help you double your productivity, profits, and time off. All you have to do is go to balance6.biz and pick a time that works for you. Until next time, make sure you focus on caring for others like Greg does and having a big heart and having a better life and better business.
This week's episode of Better Life, Better Business is brought to you by CA&C Video Productions. Since 1985, CA&C Video has been providing live streaming, event production, and analog to digital transfer services. They capture those life-changing moments, preserving your history for current and future generations. Because your history matters. Visit their website at cacvideo.com. Thank you so much for your sponsorship.
That's all for now. Thanks for listening to another episode of Better Life, Better Business with business and time management coach Christoph Nauer with Balance 6, the leading business and time management company in Northern California. Visit them at balance6.biz.